What I'm going to do now is shift to the next part and talk a little bit about finding history journal articles. And in order to do that, I'm going to also just talk really briefly about the characteristics and then show you where we might go to find them. History journal articles, just like books, typically have one author, so that's something that can help you. There are not a lot of other things, though, you need to pay attention to besides a published date. And again, typically these, you want things published more recently, so like published in the last 25 years, and that may be a requirement for you, but that also centrally cover deeper history. The reason why we don't have to think about a lot of other things related to history journal articles is because we are going to, and I will go back now to the LRA text itself. Going to go to a history database, a history journal article database that actually just has the materials in it. So you don't, unlike Search It where you have to do some detective work on your own, you can do this just by going to the right database. So what we're going to do is go to JSTOR. So here's the link to JSTOR within the LRA text. You can also, by the way, go to JSTOR. If I go to the home page for the libraries, JSTOR is a database, so I can click on databases from the home page to the libraries. And I can either go to the J's, as you can see here in the alphabetic list. I can search for JSTOR by typing it into this search bar. And as it so happens with JSTOR, it's one of our most popular databases. So there's just a link to it right on this home interface page. However you get there, you want to get to JSTOR, and our subscription interface looks like this. I'm going to go in here and use the same Kenya and the history of Kenyan education system as I used before. I'm going to also, as I did before, limit to the title to start, hoping again that if these words appear in the title of the journal article, it's going to be most relevant. Going down the interface page, another thing that you can do is this defaults to what's called content I can access, or I can change that to all content. We suggest that you change it to all content because then you can see everything that JSTOR provides, and you can order articles, again for free, that you can typically have sent to you electronically within about a day. WSU is not able to subscribe to everything JSTOR offers. So that's why I'm changing it to all content makes sense. Now, I also have to say, though, that during the COVID period, we actually are getting access to all of the content of JSTOR. So everything will be in full text at that time. Once that period ends, though, you'll definitely want to change this to all content, because then you can get the full text in places where otherwise we don't get it from JSTOR. Moving down the page, I want to limit to articles because I want actual journal articles. There are other pieces and parts of any one issue of a journal. There's things called book reviews, there's various kinds of reports, there's letters to the editor, things like that that you don't want. You want fully researched journal articles. You may also want to limit your language to English. Many world languages are represented in this system. You also most likely are going to want to limit to the last 25 years. That is the requirement of in the template LRAs. It's probably the requirement for your particular class as well. The reason for that is, again, getting the most current information about your topic, but also because in JSTOR, which, by the way, the JSTOR itself, that title is short for journal storage. So there's a lot of historical journals in there pre-1995, and you don't want to look at those. Scrolling down, the last thing that you're going to want to pay attention to is this journal filter area. And you can see here that you can filter by all sorts of different disciplinary or subject areas. There are 4 of them related to history. There's architecture history here, you can see there's art history. There is a general history one right here, which I'm going to click on. All RCI students would want to limit to this. And then there's history of science and technology as well, which may or may not apply to your topic. So at a minimum, click on the history limiter, because you don't want to get articles that I don't want articles that are talking about Kenyan, the Kenyan education system from the last 5 years or something like that. So I want things that are from history journals. Now, because I'm looking at Kenya, I may also decide, and I'm looking at education, by the way, I may also decide that I want to limit to education journals as well, or I may even want to limit to African studies journals as well. If you do that, though, you just need to be careful again that each article you're looking at actually covers that deeper history. With that set up, I'll go ahead and click the Submit Advanced Search button, and I'll get my results. And in this case, there are 91 things, and you'll see that all of them on the right side have this download PDF. Under normal circumstances, a lot of these would not say download PDF, at which point you would click on the title and you would get what's called a Find It at WSU button to order it. But right now, every single one of these has a download PDF, so you can just download the item to your machine. So that is the bit about finding history journal articles. Now, to close this video, I am going to go back to the LRA text and just tell you that typically the last question, you revise the research questions that you proposed in LRA number 1. So that concludes this video. I am just, as one last ending piece, going to again show you that in the LRA LibGuide, you can email me, schedule appointments, or otherwise contact me through the phone. Good luck on your research, and go Cougs.